cosplay time! Yay! As I write this video in the year of your Lord 2023, there are 4 released MonsterVerse movies. And this might surprise a lot of you, but I think Kong Skull Island is the most well-made out of all of them so far. It's got its flaws, but its story and cinematography really shine for me. Plus, it's got my favorite MonsterVerse scene to date. So it's kind of a bummer to me that the Kong Skull Island toy line is relatively small. It was released by Lanyard with the movie in 2017, and the line was a Walmart exclusive. Let's check out these toys and see if I like them as much as I like the movie. 6 years after the movie came out. Seriously, every other YouTuber already covered this back in 2017. And what was I publishing on YouTube back in 2017? It's a miracle I have any subscribers. Or even sponsors. Sponsors like bayoujp. Look, a new delivery! Let's see what goodies are inside. This is the Movie Monster Series Retro Color Jet Jaguar. It's a Godzilla Store exclusive, and I did order it from the Godzilla Store through Bayi. And when you sign up, using the link in my description, you'll get 2,000 yen to start shopping, which is very generous. I would take advantage of that. Jet Jaguar's pank! The Council of Jaguars will see you now. Here's the Movie Monster Series Final Wars Hedorah. It is a superb sculpt and a character I had to snag. My collection of Godzilla aprons continues with this Godzilla vs. Mothra apron. I've almost got the entire Heisei era on an apron now. And the last thing I'll show you right now is Godzilla Kaiju Card Showdown, a Japanese card game from 2019. And what's really neat about this is the art. I love this chibi style. Very cool, thank you so much, bayoujp. Remember to sign up today with my link in the description. Alright, let's start with Kong himself. He got just one figure from Lanyard, and it just so happens it's 18 inches tall. It's a big boy. But how do we know for sure this is actually Kong, and not some generic gorilla? I'd better consult my guide. Yes, I see. 3 slashes. Yep, this is legally legendary Kong. Kong is a fine toy. I mean, if you're gonna make a giant Kong toy, you can certainly do a lot worse than this. And this boy is big. Here's a quick size comparison to Ultimate Godzilla and Mattel's Shogun Godzilla. His ankles can slightly swivel around, which is a huge help when balancing him in a standing position. Most articulation comes in the arms. They can all 360 around, but they can also go outward, which is really nice. He can also bend at the elbows. He's got one hand clenched in a fist, and one hand open, ready to hold one of the figures. Wrists swivel slightly, not really a meaningful amount. And same with the head, it can turn just a little from side to side, and it doesn't really want to stay. You can feel it wants to snap back to default. Face is decent, he's frozen in angry mode, I think it's pretty good. Flipping to the back, that ass. My Kong has this random screw here. I bought this loose a while back, and that's how it came. I've looked online, and while most other Kongs I've seen don't have this screw, a handful actually did. I have no idea what that's about, or even what this oddly placed screw is holding together. Kong comes with a generic assault soldier. It's not meant to be anyone in the movie, I don't think, but we could pretend it's, let's say Cole. He's got a bazooka and just an insane look on his face. And what's strange is his lack of articulation. His head turns and his arms turn, and that's it. And you're gonna see that he's the only figure in this line that's like this. And he's the only one with legs like this. Which makes this figure really stand out. And now I have to slightly tangent to tell you that this guy isn't a Kong figure at all. So, Lanyard has this huge toy line called the Core. It's basically Lanyard G.I. Joe. It's got soldiers, vehicles, playsets. It's been going on for at least 2 decades now. And besides the Skull Island monsters, a lot of Kong figures I'm gonna show you are repurposed molds from the Core. They mix and match old heads with old bodies, and even repaint them. The Core is usually sold in sets, and the Skull Island toys are no different. There are 3 sets called Battle for Survival Creature Contact, and in each set you get a human, a monster, some guns, and a little bit more. Let's start with this set. It comes with a pretty neat raft with guns all over it. If this were a Trendmasters toy, this would all fire missiles. And yeah, this raft was originally from the Core toy line, but still it looks really cool. And if we take this generic soldier's body and add this guy's head, only switch colors, we have this guy. And you can see what I mean, how this one has articulation at the elbows and the knees, unlike the first guy we looked at. Let's put him on the raft here. Does he stand? Sitting is kind of awkward. I think it's ready. Roar! Right, so the monster that comes with this is a leafwing from the movie, although Leonard calls it the Pterodactylus. And YouTube commenters are going to correct me and say it's the Pteranodonulus. The packaging boasts that it has movable wings, and I guess that's technically accurate, although it's not like there's a flapping mechanism and I can't reposition them. But for what it is, it's a good figure with a nice mold, although I thought the head of these guys was a little less squiddy. And you won't hear this again in this video, but they actually made this monster too big. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, I still like this set, but these guys were much smaller in the movie. Maybe instead of one big one, the set could have came with 2 or 3 smaller ones? I'm just talking here. Okay, so the next 2 sets are interesting. Let's start with the spider set. It's got a figure that looks like it's meant to be James Conrad. I mean, the head kinda looks like Tom Hiddleston. There's no mention of this being Conrad on the packaging, but maybe it is? This entire figure can be seen in the core toy line, though, in this set that came out after Kong. Maybe after his time on Skull Island, Conrad joined the core. Conrad comes with a small Jeep that you bet your ass was taken from the core toy line. But it's a great size. It looks small, but the figure can fit comfortably inside, and a second can sit comfortably next to him. I like the mud paint on the side and tires. That's cool. And I'm glad they gave it the Sky Devils decal. That was the name of this military group in the movie, so it's good to see something specific to the movie on the vehicle. Various guns and knives came in the set. Really? You couldn't give Conrad a katana to cut down the leafwing? Don't tell me there are no katanas in the core toy line. It also comes with a small section of barbed wire, and I'm not complaining, but how random is this? What else can we reuse? Throw that little section of barbed wire in there, why not? Help, I was trying to sneak into Skull Island and I got stuck. Guess I'll just have to walk to the hospital. Crash! Oops, sorry. This set comes with a spider, who us pedantics know as Mother Longlegs. This one's really well done. The legs articulate, the paint looks good. Yeah, obviously it's much smaller than it appeared in the movie, but it's still tall enough to make the point. It still towers over the figures. Look, they can pretty much walk right under it. The Jeep can virtually drive under it. I'm a big fan of this spider. It's my favorite of the 3 monsters in these combo packs. There's a third pack that I'm missing some pieces of, but it has this really nice outpost station. This makes for good scenery. It's got a map of Skull Island, some secret files, pictures of Kong in case anyone forgets what he looks like. I like this outpost a lot. And then it comes with Packard, one of my favorite Monsterverse characters. Again, it looks like Sam Jackson's head, and I'm pretty sure that's intentional, but there's no reference to this actually being Packard on the packaging. Alright, quick update as I edit this video. By using the Wayback Machine and seeing the earlier Leonard website for these toys, it is confirmed that they are indeed Conrad and Packard. The website has them listed by name, unlike the packaging for the toys. And indeed, on their social media, you can see that there was an intentional head scan of Samuel L. Jackson. So, we could say with confidence that 2 heads in this toy line are original heads meant for Kong Skull Island. Although their bodies are definitely repurposed molds from the core. If there's only going to be 2 characters from the actual film in this line, I'm glad one is Packard. Someone should lead all these generic soldiers. Crash! Oops, sorry! Packard comes with some camo. Again, from the other Leonard toy line. And those are the bits I'm missing. And this set also came with a skull crawler, and oh boy, I am not loving it. What a weird pose, just walking all upright. He's not even crawling. It's right there in the name, Skull Crawler. I'd better stop criticizing this before I get the "old man complains about child toys on YouTube" comment from someone who thinks they're being original. His jaw moves, so there's that. Is this a baby Skullcrawler? Maybe one Packard kidnapped and trained? And named Scully? Ride, Scully, ride! Giddy up! The Skullcrawler doesn't scale with anything. Not the humans, certainly not the Kong figure, not even all the other monsters, really. But hey, even he passes underneath the Mother Longlegs. And here's the fatal flaw of this toy line. Getting back to Kong, the star monster, he has nothing to fight. They made this giant Kong figure, but no big skullcrawler to brawl with. Or even stranger, this giant Kong figure is the only Kong figure in the line. There's no smaller alternative, not even something that might scale with this skullcrawler. It's such a strange oversight in an otherwise serviceable toy line. While we're talking about things missing from this toy line, why no figures of some of the other stars of the movie? Why no figure of Mason Weaver? Is it because none of the molds from the core toy line had big round boobies? I would have loved to have seen a figure of Hank Marlowe or Bill Randa. There are 2 vehicles though. Storm Strike here, which is a helicopter and a pilot in one box, and yep, completely reused. Still, I like it. I'm glad there's a helicopter that Kong can smack out of the air, and they put the Sky Devils on it, which is great. It's a good helicopter. It looks nice, propeller spins. That's really it. This doesn't do much. You can open the side door here, and also the cockpit in the front opens. The pilot sits comfortably inside. But how about the side? It's a little awkward. Obviously, the figures can't stand, so they just kind of have to sit down inside. And we can get 2 guys in there sitting side by side. You can lay a third across them, I guess. Or maybe not. Still, characters look good posing around this helicopter. It may belong to another toy line, but it works particularly well in the Kong line. Just for fun, let's compare it to the Trendmasters helicopter from the Godzilla 98 toy line, another big monster movie with a heavy focus on the military. Visually, Lanard looks more substantial. It's clearly bigger, a bit more detailed, but the Trendmaster chopper has features like battle damage and 1,000 firing missiles, and that's where the Lanard copter loses out. It's a great toy, but it has pretty much no additional features. While we're on the tangent of Godzilla 98 toys, the figures in the Godzilla line almost scale with the Kong toys. They're just a smidge shorter. However, there's no issue mixing and matching most of the vehicles. Here are Kong figures in a Godzilla tank. They fit easily. And the Godzilla characters work with the Kong helicopter. Great. You can even have Ultimate Godzilla eat some Kong characters. Adios, Packard! Not this guy, though. Mr. Manspread isn't gonna fit. The other vehicle is this boat, which you might think is also reused from the core toy line, and it is. It's got wheels so it can roll. If this was a Trendmasters toy, there'd be 4 missiles right here. And this can comfortably fit a lot of figures, in good poses too. It came with this guy, and you could sit him inside of the controls no panel. And then a second figure can sit here and man the gun. The back has nubs to help 2 more characters stand in place, which is great. And there's still plenty of room inside the boat itself. And voila, a full expedition team on one boat. I love this, it really works. Check out this picture I took of Kong in this boat a few years ago. For a toy line, the scaling all works well enough, and even if Kong doesn't have another monster to punch, you can have a blast putting him against the military. The core had a ton of other playsets and molds that could have easily been repurposed for this toy line. Like this mountain called the Rock. It'd be fun to have Kong smashing into this thing. But that's kind of the good news here. You can easily grab any characters or vehicles from the core toy line and flawlessly incorporate them into your Skull Island display or play. You can have Kong take out an entire army. Have your Skull Island toys mixed with Lanard's Jurassic Clash toy line. Some pieces are yet again repurposed, but now you can put some dinosaurs on your Skull Island. Lanard's Rampage toys also reuse some assets from the core, so you can have Kong fight the Lanard George from Rampage. It's slightly smaller, but it scales better than the damn Skullcrawler does. Have the Rock join Packard. Put the Rock in Kong's Skull Island. And what's with his face? Lanard also did toys for Jumanji, and look, there's the Jeep again. They even reused the Rock figure. God bless these guys. Screw it, have Kong fight any of the other Lanard gorillas. What's with Lanard and giant gorilla toys? The point is, by reusing so many assets and scaling everything about the same, Lanard created a shared universe across so many of its toy lines, and it made it really easy to mix and match. Your adventures on Skull Island don't have to end with the Skull Island toys. In a way, it's pretty neat. When the Kong figures were released, Lanard offered papercraft downloads on their website. Here's Kong, so if you have more patience than I do, you can cut and fold your own Kong together. They offered another papercraft too. Is it a monster for Kong to fight? No, it's James Conrad. Papercraft James Conrad. But at least this outfit is movie accurate. Leonard's crazy. But they're the only company to give us some toys of humans from the Monsterverse movies. Sort of. And that's something I do wish the other lines did. I do like some human character toys as well. Tell me your thoughts on the Kong Skull Island figures below and all of this other madness. Until next time.